The Final Girl Exodus was an editorial study centered around the famous horror trope of the final girl. This came in the form of producing an editorial photo shoot similar to those found in fashion campaigns for magazines and social media. The conception of the Final Girl Exodus came from artist Robin F. Williams and her recent exhibit at the Columbus Museum of Art. I found myself enamored with her work centered around women in horror, especially the headlining piece, Final Girl Exodus, the driving force of this project. Throughout the study, I wanted to explore the history of the final girl, starting with the beginning, analyzing heroines in Gothic literature, eventually making our way to the new age of the final girl in modern horror films. First, we delve into the beginning of our timeline with Mina Harker from Dracula. I saw Mina as an establishment for the final girl trope, a damsel in distress who inherently saves herself. For this design, I wanted to create a warm body effect, using airbrushing and hand painted orbs to symbolize blood running through the body. Rhinestones were implemented into the paint job to add dimension and movement throughout the garment. This effect was complemented by the addition of red fingerless gloves made with sequin fabric. Another late addition was the red mesh that was attached to the bodice and the gloves. This was done to give contrast between the dress and the model's makeup. In the makeup of Mina, we started with a base of white on the model's chest and face, using red body paint as our darker contour. Using spirit gum, we attached more sequins and rhinestones to the contoured areas to match the stoning of the garment. In time, Mina's garment clocks in at about 60 hours of work, this taking into account times for fittings, airbrushing, painting, and of course, rhinestoning. Next in our collection, I wanted to cover horror films from the beginning of Hollywood, this coming in the form of the original Scream Queen, Fay Wray. Originally, I wanted this look to be inspired by Ray's performance as Eve in The Most Dangerous Game. However, as the process furthered, I wanted to encapsulate Ray's climb to the Scream Queen title, additionally pulling inspiration from Ray's most famous work in King Kong. It takes its silhouette from the traditional bias-cut dresses of the 1930s, similar to ones worn by Ray in her films. Inspired by the iconic torn dress from King Kong, I combined a variety of different lace curtains and tablecloths into a patchwork fabric that would be used for the skirt. In time, this look was made possible in 12 consecutive hours. Towards the age of the slasher film, we look at the official final girl, Sally Hardesty from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Each of the pieces in this look were thrifted and altered from local Goodwills. Large gussets were added to the jeans to create an exaggerated bell-bottom silhouette, and the attachments on the heels were made from polymer clay and a mixture of red beads and sequins. After the base construction was completed, different parts of the look were coated in a mixture of red acrylic paint and Mod Podge. To create the rotting flesh texture throughout the look, I used a combination of Christmas cranberries, forest moss, wig trimmings, feathers, pony beads, heated organza, glass beads, and of course, sequins. Roughly over 50 hours were put into the creation of the Sally look, mainly allotting that time for drying of Mod Podge and various other adhesives. In the late 1990s, filmmaker Wes Craven introduced audiences to the world of Scream and a final girl who defied all odds, Sidney Prescott. With this look, I wanted to show the transition from Sidney's arc from a young final girl to a mature survivor. I was inspired by the idea of Sidney being engulfed into the public's eye. In the younger look, the mosaic combination of buttons, tiles, and beads represent the survivor's guilt that weighs on Sidney's shoulders. While the piece sparkles in the spotlight, the weight restricts her. The jacket was finished within a 5-day period, much of the time spent on drying and shaping. In the older look, the silicone etching and the pleather attachments represent growth after trauma. It showcases how mental scars become a part of who Sidney is. The suit took roughly 30 hours to complete, allotting time for the silicone to dry. Ending our collection with the new age of the final girl, we look at Danny Arter from Ari Aster's 2019 film Midsummer. I took this look with heavy inspiration from the textile storytelling that can be seen throughout the film. Using carved rubber stamps, I created the illusion of embroidery depicting crucial scenes from the story. The base of the dress was thrifted, while the cape and the waistband were custom made for the look. For the flower crown, I chose to follow the structure as the one seen in the film. However, in this design, I chose an autumnal color palette to create a burning effect, nodding to the fiery ending of the film. With that being said, I just would like to say thank you and enjoy the Final Girl Exodus.